What I'm going to read now is from it was tape recorded within hours after I woke up. I actually pulled all my tubes out, sat up. They wouldn't let me leave the hospital. Any of you out there that know me know you can't keep me in the hospital. And I hoofed it home to my safe house. And then I remember as much as I possibly can about the story. I found out later that I'm 99% accurate. But what I had on tape was absolutely accurate because I taped it within hours of after waking up. Okay? Chapter 35. On a very serious note. So as not to add any unconscious suggestion to you or your current point of view about an afterlife, or to add any view to the events in this material, where I can, I am giving you my exact words that were lifted from the tapes that I carried with me for years. I dictated it within hours after I woke and returned to Henry's house. So although it may sound a bit constrained or thought up, remember, I was summarizing my immediate impressions because I did not want to lose the essence or the sense of reality of my personal experience on the other side. I wanted to record my memory as soon as possible without planning my thoughts. That's how I made the tape. I remembered many other details about this experience much later, and I still do, by the way, as I get more distance and healed from the sickness and the physical events. So here it is, as fresh as I can from the other side, the very day I awoke. I began dictating. After a while of watching someone fooling with my arms and wondering just what the excitement was all about, I felt terrific, and I sensed I was out of my body, staring down as it floated off alone. As I floated off alone. This is what I sensed most. I don't know how to explain it any other way. Oneness. A knowing feeling of understanding of protection and observation. It's an overpowering feeling of security, of being held safe and sound in the arms of something invisible. It's like a runner's high, a feeling of being alive after a great workout, a hot shower, a massage, then finishing a long overdue tasty meal. Everything is all right and is always going to be in my favor. There is no sense of threat or loss whatsoever. No sense of a place to go and all the time necessary to get there. Oneness is so damn obvious on the other side. It is amusing when you understand it. I burst out laughing when I realized it. I wondered why I'd never felt it before. It's so simple and it makes so much sense. Oneness includes the smallest quark and the empty space between every atom in all material that exists. That was proven by the Higgs boson discovery. That sentence there was proven by the Higgs boson discovery, and I made that many years ago. The universe is one big interconnected energy vibration, an actual living vibrating organism. It blew my mind, and also blew away all my former thoughts of spiritual concepts about personalities. There's no personalities. We're all the spirit. Oneness. That's it. That's the whole deal. Oneness. No more, no less. Just oneness. We are all oneness. I can't explain it any other way. It is not a person. It is not a philosophy. It is not an idea, not a concept, not a dogma, not a religion, not a belief or a thing. It is just there. I sense everything. Everything else is totally subordinate to it, part of it, and dependent upon it. Many have a notion that God, Allah, Ra, Tao, Jehovah, Yahweh, the Great Spirit, the universe, whatever we call it, or a higher power, is made to look like us. That is dead wrong. We are all the same in oneness. Any other concept of any deity being separate or different from oneness is called denial. It's like a fish denying that water exists, or a bird denying it's in the air. As soon as I realized this, I was no longer in my body, which looked silly as hell lying there anyway. I felt really embarrassed because I sensed this oneness surrounding and completely enveloping me. And I realized how wrong I was about my idea of God all these years. I thought others that I sensed near me could see just how stupid I was. I had suddenly realized we are all oneness. It scared the hell out of me because I had it all wrong, and then all of a sudden I felt fantastic. I felt incredible. I felt accepted as part of a family. I had no sense of stress or personal guilt or limitation. The sense of peace and being happy was overwhelming. I lost all fear of absolutely everything or anything. And then the visitors came. I called them teachers. I had a million questions ready. But first I beckoned to Uncle Connie with a big grin, with a question we always argued about when he was alive. Who came first, the chicken or the egg? We laughed explosively for what seemed like an eternity, until all the stress of my illness and emotional trauma that I had accumulated over the years from my recent sickness and the debilitating lonely earth visit were totally gone. You tell me first, he smiled. I really love that man. I will now relate recollections about how I awoke on Easter morning. On the other side, I figured out why Uncle Connie had been bouncing that ball of pure light off my chest for a whole week before the trip to the hospital. He was keeping me awake in my body. Everyone in Caprivi knew that if you have cerebral malaria and fall into the coma, you will never wake up. The doctor's wife had died the day before I arrived at the hospital. He could not save her, and there were over 300 victims in this particular epidemic of cerebral malaria during this period of the weeks in Caprivi. All died but one. That would be me. I will write my insights gained on the other side later, but for now, leave it with this promise. No matter what I was offered to stay here, I would leave this very instant. There is nothing to fear in death. It is not real. It is only a simple change from this life dimension through a door to our real home dimension with our real family in this real universe of oneness. No one would be able to talk me out of this wonderful experience, and I have bet my entire life on the fact that it is true. Enough said, okay? During the Good Friday, Holy Saturday, delicious sojourn to the other side, I stopped back off into the hospital room and watched people working on my body. Then I'd go off again with Uncle Connie. He was always smiling like a proud father. He acted like my guide to everything I wanted to see and know. He finally beckoned. Tommy, you will not stay here. This is your introductory visit. You will return. No matter how much I begged and pleaded, he insisted I would return to my body. That part really sucked. I did not want to return and persisted in arguing my case with the teachers with a real pissed off grin. Suddenly, I sat up and grabbed the priest's cassock about the waist. I scared the hell out of him. He was in the middle of giving me the last rites. The candles were burning, and he was in the downstroke of a Catholic blessing after anointing my cold head. Everyone ran out of the room, and I was crying loudly. Until this very moment, I have never admitted why I was crying. I was already homesick and wanted to go back home with Uncle Connie. I was totally pissed off that I had to return and be back in this tired, old, ugly body. I refused any further treatment from the medical staff. I pulled the needles and tubes out. I left the hospital still totally pissed off and walked a few kilometers in the heat through the burning sand to Henry's house. The back door was open. It was empty, but nothing was stolen. I grabbed my recorder, and after calming down from crying and moaning about being wakened up, I dictated as much as I could remember about this near-death experience. Here's a special note. I will organize my thoughts. I am motivated to continue with my African diary, and after a bit, I will continue to write the rest of my Namibia experience. Thanks for reading this account so far. I feel good that I'm alive to tell this tale. As another footnote, I can tell you with absolute fact that was embedded within me as a result of my visit with the other side. I know for certain our greatest spiritual challenge at this present time is to love our neighbor. And there are no exceptions. Everyone is our neighbor. Henry and his lovely wife came back from the coast one fine sunny day. I walked out to the backyard as I heard them drive up in their four-wheeler SUV. I wanted to help them unload. She gasped, "Oh my God, Tommy, you look like you were in a concentration camp." I explained the details of my experience, that I was at my all-time low in body weight and general health. I had no mirror in the bush, so I knew nothing about what I looked like for many months. It was very liberating, and I absent-mindedly grew to not miss a mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall. She demanded, "Go into the bedroom. There's a full-length mirror in the back of the closet door. Open it, drop your pants, and take a good look in the mirror." I obeyed. Oh my God, I gasped. I did look like I truly was a starving man. Bones sticking out all over. No butt, no chest, bony ribs, knobby knees, just pure skin and bones. I finally broke down completely emotionally. I could not stop crying. It was a massive pity party. Why had I been so bloody stupid to think I could handle the African bush at my age? Damn. I was the dumbest man on the face of the earth. I ruined my body, I ruined my mind, and was left with only a whimsical spiritual reality that no one will ever believe in a million years. Egads. Gruff old Henry turned into an immediate Marine Sergeant Major. "Okay, boy, now you're going to learn to eat." He fed me 6 times a day. Nothing would stay down. They woke me up for food. I drank gallons of fresh milk and ate pounds of bread and jelly. Finally, I got hungry for real food and put in a few good nights' sleep, and after 2 weeks, I told Henry, "I think I'm okay," I announced. The next is chapter 36.